Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It's a great honor for me to be here in front of honored and distinguished guests to talk about the importance of cinema, movies, and film for the tourism industry. I'm working for Dolby as a regional director for Turkey, Middle East, and Africa. And while I was preparing for this presentation, I was asking myself what makes me qualified to give this presentation about cinema tourism and how to brand a nation. And I found two reasons for that. The first reason is, for the last 20 years, I have literally touched every movie that was produced. Working for Sony and Dolby lately, I've had the pleasure to technologically advance movies and the pleasure that movies bring to consumers. And the second reason why I think I'm qualified to give this speech is I'm a film tourist myself. I was born in Turkey, but at my age of 4, my parents took the decision to take me to Austria, where I was raised. And ever since, missing Turkey, and the only link that I had to Turkey was through films that came to Austrian cinemas about Turkey, documentaries about Turkey, and news about Turkey. And whenever we came back to Turkey during our summer vacation, I was trying to reach out to those destinations, together with my parents, that we had seen in those movies and documentaries. Since there is no presentation here, I will try to speak from the top of my memory. So, Hollywood. Most of you in this room think Hollywood is a movie production ecosystem. I think most people in the world think Hollywood is a movie production ecosystem. But I will tell you, Hollywood is not only a movie production ecosystem. Hollywood is probably the world's best travel agent for all of you. I will come back to that with some statistics in the course of this presentation. And when we continue with the definition of movie or film, a film is a motion picture produced for entertainment that tells a story. Every country, every region, every city has so many stories to tell that are still yet untold. There's a rich history in every city, in every country. There is culture, and there are beautiful landscapes and recreation places which are yet to be exploited by cinema. And that's why Hollywood, for you going forward, should be an even greater partner if you take those factors into consideration. I would like to also highlight the importance and the synergies between tourism and film. Because the motivations behind both industries and both products are very similar. There are two basic motivations why people travel. The first motivation is people travel because they want to escape. They want to escape from their daily stress, from their daily routines. They want to escape from their problems. And the other reason why people travel is they want to reward themselves because they had a successful year, they had a successful business, or they had success in general. And traveling to a country or destination of choice is something how they reward themselves. And watching films is following the same patterns. It's either escaping from something or rewarding yourself. That means I would define watching films as the little brother of tourism, as the start of tourism. That means the journey of your consumers, the journey of your customers already starts when they start watching a movie. That's a big potential for you going forward. In 2009, Ernst & Young made a study that was mainly concentrating on Mexico, and they found out that for every dollar spent in that country for movie production, there was a return of $2.50 in tourism gain. That means $1 input into movie production, $2.50 output for tourism. That's a great return of investment. And the more interesting figure is that a movie return in itself is $1 to $1.50. That means when I produce a movie and I spend $1 in a movie production, I only earn $1.50 back for the lifetime of a movie. That means, if you remember my earlier statement at the beginning of this presentation, when I said Hollywood is the biggest and most important travel agent for you in the world, that was not by mistake. The figures prove that movie productions help to market the destination, the country, the city. TravelSat in 2012 made a study that 40 million people traveled in that particular year because they saw a destination in a movie and they wanted to travel there. If you take into consideration that by the end of 2015, around 1.2 billion tourist arrivals happened, 40 million people that traveled because of the movie, that makes an astonishing 3.5%, induced by movies and films. And an even greater figure is what Oxford research did in 2012. They found out that 10% of the tourism income in the United Kingdom was related to movies that were produced in the United Kingdom. So our figure to remember for the course of this presentation is 3.5% to 10%. That means movies, films, Hollywood, local productions, the support tourism industry. And I do believe that there is still a big hidden potential which is not yet utilized and which will hopefully, with the help and closer cooperation between the tourism industry and the entertainment industry, will be utilized in future. So, I think you all know the statistics and figures about the tourism industry. I will give you some highlights about what the entertainment market or what the film entertainment market is. The filmed entertainment market in 2015 was an $88 billion market. And close to $40 billion were created in cinemas. The other $48 billion were created in TV exploitation, in digital entertainment, or in entertainment through DVDs or Blu-rays. A very important figure to remember there as well is in 2015, there were 8.2 billion cinema tickets sold worldwide. If we take into consideration a global population on planet Earth of 7.4 billion people, that makes an admission per person of 1.1. That's a great figure. An even greater figure is if we take into consideration that it is estimated that a person is watching 80 to 100 movies a year. That makes 7 to 8 movies a month, approximately 2 movies a week. Considering 2 hours per movie, that means you captivate your audience for 4 hours on average every week. That's a great advertising, that's a great platform for you to advertise the good sides and the attractiveness of your destinations. I would like to continue with some figures. In 2015, there were 9,400 movies produced in the world. The leading movie-producing countries were India, Nigeria, of course Hollywood, China, and some other emerging markets. Turkey is closing the gap. I think the film industry in Turkey is increasing. We are already close to 100 movies shot in Turkey, produced in Turkey per year, and that figure will increase in the course of the next years. And the entertainment industry, as the tourism industry is growing, it will grow at a compound annual growth rate of 4% until 2019. In the same context, I would also like to give you another opportunity which is very much attached to movies. It's connectivity. In 2015, 1.9 billion people owned a connected device. That means Considering, again, 7.4 billion people, this contributes to 25% of the global population is connected. And it is expected that by 2019, close to 4 billion people will be connected. That will be 50% of the global population will be reachable to you on a button click. What does connectivity mean? Why is that important? Connectivity is important because when people use their mobile phones or their tablets, they not only use it for making telephone calls or making Twitter announcements or being on Facebook, they more and more use it for entertainment consumption. And that is also an opportunity for you. Another important platform for you to consider going forward are great entertainment platforms for you. Just to give you an example, Netflix. Netflix today already is and in future will be much more the most important and the biggest entertainment platform worldwide. A month ago, at the Consumer Electronics Show in Las Vegas, Netflix announced that they will launch their services in 113 new countries. That will bring the Netflix penetration by the end of 2016 to around 190 countries. That means Netflix is basically everywhere. And why is Netflix important? Not because they're Netflix, because Netflix is engaging a lot with their consumers. 37% of the primetime internet traffic in North America is related to Netflix, 37%. Another 16% of the primetime internet traffic is YouTube. That's also an entertainment platform. It's short form videos. Means if you add Netflix and YouTube together, you reach 53%. And if I put that figure in context with Facebook, for example, Facebook is only contributing to 2.7% of the primetime internet traffic. Yes, almost every person on this planet is on Facebook. Yes, social interaction is important. Yes, Facebook is an important advertising platform for you, but an even greater advertising platform for you, which is still to be utilized in its maximum manner, is entertainment. Please take these figures in mind. I would like to also take some figures of the tourism industry into consideration and would like to compare them with the entertainment industry. I mentioned before 1.2 billion tourist arrivals in 2015. The tourism industry revenue is estimated to be at $1.2 trillion US. And the major regions, and I think this has been mentioned by some of the speakers earlier today, the major destinations today are Europe, of course, Asia Pacific and North America. But the single biggest tourism destination by far is US. The US have a share in the global tourism of around 20%. That means almost $200 billion US of the big tourism cake goes to the US. Of course, we can always relate this to the beautiful nature, to the beautiful country, to all the things that can be seen in the US. But I do think that the factor Hollywood is contributing a lot to the importance of the US as a tourism destination. And if I continue comparing the tourism industry with the entertainment industry, I do see that tourism is growing and has been growing and will continue to grow. But if I compare it with entertainment, I do see that in terms of transactions, it's still lagging behind entertainment. And that's the hidden potential behind tourism. That can be utilized by already starting the journey for your consumers in a movie. When you want to brand your destination, when you want to brand your country, your city, working closely with film production people, with companies, with film production ecosystems, will be a big, important success factor for you going forward. Before I close my speech, I would like to give you some examples how film production has induced additional tourists in certain regions. Braveheart, for example. The year after Braveheart was shot in Scotland, the tourism to that region increased by 300%. That's taking into consideration that the Braveheart movie was a fairly low-budget production of $45 million. And if we remember the figure that I mentioned earlier today about the study that was made by Ernst & Young, $1 spent in movie production is a $2.50 output in tourism. That's a great gain for Scotland and the United Kingdom. I will give you another example. Mission Impossible 2 in the 2000. That movie was shot in Sydney, Australia. And after the movie was shot, the year after the movie, the national parks in Sydney were able to see a growth of 200% of international tourists visiting those destinations that were shot and shown in those movies, in that movie. Another example, a very funny one for me, is the TV series Dallas. I don't know, probably all of us remember the 70s, the 80s, or the early 90s when the US TV series Dallas was on air. Still today, 500,000 people are visiting the South Fork Range. I think the TV series is already, the last part was shot, I think, 25 years ago, and still 500,000 people are visiting that place where the family, Ewing family, was living. And I will give you another very close example of Turkey, the movie Troy with Brad Pitt. The year after the movie was shot, Çanakkale in Turkey, in the west of Turkey, was able to see an increase in incoming tourists of 73%. That's a huge impact that can be derived from movie productions. And if we stay within Turkey with the impact of Turkish film productions and TV series, I would like to continue with the impact of that Turkish TV series had or still have on Turkish tourism. Turkish TV series are exported to more than 100 countries. And studies have been conducted that the incoming tourists from the countries where Turkish TV series were exported to increased by 15%. That's a great figure. If I look at how the ecosystem in Turkey is set up in TV productions or in movie productions, I'm very confident that those figures will even improve going forward. So, I would like to conclude with the following. The entertainment industry is growing. The share of local films is growing. I think it's less dependent on Hollywood as it used to be in the past. That gives all of you an opportunity to work closely or more closer with the entertainment or movie production ecosystem to brand your city, your country, or your region. Secondly, connectivity is increasing. I mentioned earlier today, 4 billion people are supposed to be connected or expected to be connected by 2019. That's a great opportunity for you. And as mentioned as well, people will watch movies or will be entertained on their mobile devices as well. And thirdly, as digital entertainment is increasing and as also the penetration of cinemas is increasing. Just to give you a figure, in Turkey there are around 2,200 digital screens. And if I talk to experts or stakeholders in that field, everybody's saying that is still 50% of the truth. That means Turkey needs another 2,000 screens going forward. And there are many other regions on the earth that are seeing the same potentials. That means the platform for you to advertise yourself, to advertise your region, your product, your service is increasing and is offering you the potential to explore and to exploit the hidden potential of tourism. Thank you very much.